because of the way this sounds. You know, it's like
I've never.
You've never
I
seen
don't
that?
watch Saturday Night Live. I've
The
never really
Sweaty
watched
Balls
it. I've seen like
episode is,
pieces.
Classic.
I've never watched it really. I've never watched an entire episode of Saturday Night Live. That's what it's
I don't
called,
think
right?
I have either.
I think it's because it's too long. Can't focus for that long.
Is that
Do you know
people in general or me?
You. It's like an hour and a half. So I feel like you wouldn't be able to
like skits.
Yeah, I know,
It's
but
is it
like
I'm just saying that's why.
Is it like Adult Sesame Street?
She was daunted by the hour and a half long time frame on it and just like, nope, can't do it. Never.
I'm not going to do it.
It's also on very late at night. Like, I don't stay up that late anymore. I wake up almost that
but
early.
Even like in my 20s when it was like, it was bigger in our, like when I was in my 20s, like it was, I mean, how long has it been around?
Oh,
since like the 70s.
A long time, like longer than me. It's been around for a while.
I've never, like even like in college or whatever, and people talk about it, and I'd like see little bits, like I would go watch and I've heard Sweaty Balls. I don't know that I knew it came from Saturday Night Live.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about, Kate? The Sweaty Balls part?
Yes.
Alec Baldwin. Yeah, it's like back in the 90s.
And then Sean Connery. Like, those were my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are my favorites.
Do the whole thing.
What? I mean,
don't know
have you not seen the Alex Trebek skit?
No.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. We need to get you to look it up on YouTube or something.
You're
missing out.
Oh.
I gotta remember exactly
just start
what it
sending
is.
me links.
But he'll just be like, I'll take your asshole for 200, Alex. Like, it's so funny.
Asshole?
Like, I don't. It's literally.
Y'all get mad about me talking
ever.
about cocaine, but now you're talking about assholes.
Well, I'm not. Sean Connery is.
So does he talk about cocaine? Sean Connery.
You are like
I'm on it.
up on the cocaine today, aren't you? Is that what's in your little?
Hold on, time out. I am not hyped up on cocaine right now.
Okay, good. Is that what's in your little fidget right there? Did you bring that for yourself?
I did bring myself a fidget today that I promise I won't tap on the table.
I mean, you realize everyone can see it now, right?
I didn't think about it.
I mean, got it.
Your bright yellow
but
fidget.
everyone can see it because we're on video.
Okay, so
by the way, did you know that we're on video?
Dun, dun, dun.
So I have to like have something in my hands to do, and I was worried if I brought a drink that I would spill it.
Mm.
And I didn't.
I can't get mine around the microphone, so I need to reposition.
And I thought if I brought champagne this early in the morning, it would end disastrously.
I'd be asleep.
You'd be asleep?
I want to be asleep.
See,
right
champagne
now.
doesn't make me sleepy. Champagne's one of the ones that like, I think it's all the bubbles. Gets me all amped up.
That noise.
What time did you get up this morning? Because you are like,
I got up at like 5:40.
Going right now. Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay.
You know what time I woke up yesterday morning?
What?
3:30.
Why? In the afternoon?
Because of my dogs.
Oh, can we not?
3:30.
I'm going to tell you right now. We're not
in the morning.
My dog got hit by a car last week, and I had to pull him off a road. So please, let's not do dogs right now.
Oh, I'm just trying to make it so that you know that there's no reason.
Whoa.
I don't want to talk about dogs.
That was heavy.
I don't want to talk about dogs.
Also, my kids.
Okay, can we make it about your kids?
Because then they make me stay up until 11:30 having their existential crises.
Yeah.
What was the crisis?
All of them, all of the things, everything is a crisis, all of it. So we're up until 11:30, and then we're awake again at 3:30, and then it's just the cycle.
But
and
how much sleep do you really need? Hold on, How much sleep do you think you need?
I don't do cocaine, so I need more than 4 hours.
Just for the record, I don't do cocaine.
Okay.
I have tried it, but I don't do cocaine.
Okay.
Every day. No, I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is gonna. I really don't do cocaine
every day.
I have tried it, but I don't do it.
I do not, and I have not, and I will not.
Mark, and I'll
it's like a doctor's
Mark
book.
also has not.
I'm not saying cocaine.
Yeah. No, there's no cocaine.
Everyone's gonna get such a bad impression of me now.
Cocaine is not a good thing.
I know that, and I said I didn't like it. I've tried it, and I don't like it.
Speaking of
Breaking
cocaine,
news.
Hold on, time out. Sam, I am. Try your green eggs and ham. You have to try it once and take a polite bite to make sure you like.
No, I don't. Speaking of that, I was listening to that book.
Which
that
book?
thing is
what book?
Nuts. Like, I am 3 hours away from the end, and I'm just like, what in the hell is going on right now?
What book?
It's called None of This Is True.
Yeah, it's by Lisa
Jewell.
Yeah.
We're doing it for our book club, And I'm like, my brain
Which
is...
they've never invited me to.
Okay, no, we invited you to it at the very beginning and you were like, I can't take a day off a month to do a lunch. I invited you to it before it even started. And you
I feel like that's
declined.
probably true.
And I've invited you multiple times and you've been like, well, that'd be fun, but I'm too busy doing cocaine.
I don't think she said that.
So,
Let's hope not.
I mean, it was close.
Thank you, Heather.
Anyway.
So what's the book called and what's it about?
None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And it is so
it's
good.
like a mind twist.
A mind
like,
F,
I can't.
Is it fictional?
Yeah. It's fictional.
Hopefully.
Yeah. It's fictional. But it is about a podcast. So it kind of makes it interesting.
It's about a podcast. It's also about a crazy person. But the problem is that you
like
don't...
crazy or like legitimately medically crazy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. But you don't know who is the crazy person is the thing. It's like spins up in your head and you start to think like, oh, I think this person is the one that's like off their rocker. And then you're like, oh no, maybe it's this one.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's back to this one. No. And I mean, it's so twisty.
Turvy. Yeah.
That
it's really, really good.
Where
it's one of the best I've
maybe
read
it's
in a long time.
It's on my list.
It's very, I mean, it's very like, whoa, makes your brain kind of float a little.
Maybe I need to put it next on my list when I'm finished.
You do?
Yeah.
And highly recommend.
The Audible recording is actually really good because it has like music. It has different people narrating it. So it's very like they cut to pieces of the podcast and there's always like a music that leads in and stuff. It's just, it's well done. It
reminds me of what I think the radio shows were like back in like the 50s.
Well, isn't
the way
that
they did
what
this.
podcasts are? Like what, aren't we like going back to...
Yeah, no, this is like it has different segments and it's cool. It's cool.
No, I
how
mean
it's done.
podcasts in general. Like, aren't we going back to like what they originally listened to, like radio shows and stuff?
I think so.
I mean, obviously the technology's advanced and now there's video.
Yeah.
But isn't this just podcasts just going back to how they used to have radio?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean,
it's kind of like we went to CDs and MP3 and then now we're back to records again because it's cool and trendy.
Yeah.
I just like to not have to watch things.
Right,
I like
exactly.
to be able to listen to them.
Yeah,
I get that.
Too.
I'm not a video person. We've already established that. But
you're not a Dallas person. You're not a video person.
I like YouTube, but most often I'll just listen to the YouTube stuff. Like I won't watch it because you don't need to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same way.
Most of the time.
I use YouTube for like home repair stuff. Like I need to dismantle my garbage disposal.
So good for like true crime and stuff. I love that stuff.
Typically, when I find something and there's a video, I get annoyed and I close it.
Why don't you just try listening to it?
I've done that. I've done that before, but it's more that I'd rather just be able to read something or just listen to audio than when there's a video and I have to like wade through a video to find answers to things. I'm just like, screw it, I'll find something else. So, yeah.
Okay. We should get to our topic before we annoy people and they don't listen or watch.
We're funny.
We are.
Yeah.
We
are. Right. We're funny.
Okay. When we do cocaine.
So, oh God. That's Heather's cocaine face. She's like, why are we talking about cocaine so much this morning?
God.
So we wanted to bring a little bit more depth, I guess, to the podcast because we've been answering reader write-ins for so long that first of all, we're starting to run out of questions. And we figured we would start talking about things in the news or things that are
current events.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. Thank you.
Is it current events?
Well, this one actually is. I think this one will actually be pretty interesting. And it's kind of long, and so I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll touch on the big parts, and then we can, if you want me to go more in deep. If you want me to go more in depth, I can do that.
Perfect.
But this one was pretty interesting. It was I cut off the title, so now I can't remember what it's called. But it's basically the what they think the trends are going to be in the housing market next year is essentially what they're predicting the trends for next year. So I thought that would be kind of interesting to Andrew Lisa on July 14th, 2023.
Where
it's a 5-minute read.
Okay.
So I'll read the beginning leading up to it, and then we can kind of go from there. Please understand this is the edited version. I am not going to read every word. But with inflation back down to 3%, the slowest pace in more than 2 years, the Fed has indicated that it plans to end its cycle of painful interest rate hikes. That means that next year, mortgage loans might become attractive enough for home buyers to flood the housing market with new demand. So if you've been waiting for the right time to sell, 2024 might be your year, but now is the time to make sure your home reflects how trends have changed since the last time people could afford to borrow money. Go Banking Rates spoke to a variety of experts who gave the inside scoop on the design and decor motifs. That's an interesting word. That will make your house a hot property. And which ones are yesterday's news? So we're kind of talking about, I feel like this sort of touches on all of our areas, real estate, but also what's inside of your home, what people look at.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, go
I
ahead.
would say what's interesting is they're kind of talking about, and I had this conversation it wasn't with you, it was with someone else the other day, like encouraging homeowners to not wait till they're ready to sell to be like, oh crap, I have to do all this with my house. Like there are things you should be doing every year to like keep your house sell ready. Because how many times have you heard after we're done, like you get them to do this repair and clean this and this deferred maintenance, and then we paint something and we stage and we get it all right, and they're like, why the fuck haven't I done this the last 5 years while I was living here? I probably would have loved my house a lot more.
Would have enjoyed it.
Yeah, they would have enjoyed their house. Like if you look at it like I have to move next year or next month, and you treat your house like that, you will love your house 1,000 times more. So, yeah, I feel like that's kind of a piece of it, considering they're talking about next year. But what do you do now?
I just want to say real quick, I know that was written in July, but rates have gone up since then.
Yeah,
It's October.
Yeah,
So yeah,
their predictions are
yeah, but rates are
they're
like the
just
highest they've been in.
it's scary.
Yeah,
Everything
what
is
are
the
they?
highest it's been in ever.
They're-
Like it's
they're close
stupid
to
to
8.
live
Are
right
they?
now.
I haven't looked in
they're
it.
close to 8.
It kind of
Yeah.
makes me sick.
Yeah, I got a buyer a week and a half ago. He locked in at like 7.3, and they were happy about it. Yeah. So I mean, it's the new norm. Everybody takes a deep everything halts for 2 or 3 months,
it's
and
not
then
the 80s
everybody
though.
takes a deep breath and moves right along.
Right,
So
you adjust.
we're
to
back to 2007, 2008 rates. So that's where we're at.
I mean, but we're not at 18%.
No.
So, and tell me if you agree or disagree with the following statement. It's kind of relevant to this, but go buy the house you want, because when interest rates do come down, guess what's going to go up? The house pricing potentially could go up, and you can always go refinance, and you can't renegotiate the sale price on your house. Like if you find a house that is in your price point and you can make it work, and you think the housing pricing is going to go up, like get it now, because when interest rates go down, you can go refinance.
Yeah, but here's what people are really challenged by is what they could buy a year and a half ago, they cannot buy right now.
Right, they're buying power
and so
changes.
it's, that's been like the biggest challenge that I've had is when people have sort of waited and thought, okay, I'm going to wait this out because I don't want to compete for a house. And they didn't compete for a house when rates were 3% because they didn't want to get in bidding wars. And now they can't buy what they would have been able to buy if they'd been in a bidding war.
And the houses are still expensive.
They are still expensive.
I mean, they haven't gone down.
They haven't gone down.
So
They're going to.
If you have a house right now that is priced right and marketed well, it's going to sell. And it may not sell in multiple offers in 2 or 3 days, but it's going to sell in a week.
Right.
With one offer. And that's fine.
The whole oh my gosh, we had 72 showings and 12 offers in a weekend. Like that was
crazy.
That was an anomaly though.
It needed to stop.
Yeah, that wasn't healthy. That was volatile.
It needed to stop.
But people are still kind of expecting that. It's like do you think that that's dying off?
Yeah.
People's expectation of that is dying off?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's good.
Do you remember the line that I had down my sidewalk and all the way down my street of people trying to come into my house because we were selling during COVID? And it was that, remember my house?
There was a big line? I did not even realize that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get a picture? I want a picture of that.
We watched the video.
Like on your camera?
But yeah, no, I don't know if we ever took like a shot of it, but because
I knew you had a ton of showings.
It was between when only one group could be in the house at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we had a line going from our front door down the sidewalk and halfway down the driveway of people just standing, waiting to go through the house.
Crazy.
Like, it was
And that's just not a healthy market.
No.
When you've got that
It can't.
going on.
No.
It
That's
can't. Honestly, they should have raised rates before they ever raise rates. Like they should have been doing this
to kill
all
that
along.
sooner.
Yes, because inflation wouldn't be where it is at today if they'd handled it
Sooner.
early. Yeah.
But right after we locked in is when it should have started going up.
Of course. Of course. Not before that. That's not what I meant at all.
Do you have any clients, or have you worked with anybody that bought at the peak of all that, where they've overpaid and now they're having to sell and they're losing their ass?
No, not that bought from me, but I did just meet with somebody who did that.
Yeah.
Last week.
I
That kind of stuck.
It does.
And it sucks for them.
I
But they're
worked-
just kind of stuck for a little while. They're going to have to amortize that investment.
I worked with, I'm going to have to figure out the timeline, but they had bought at the height of it. It was a couple. They fell in love. They found this magical house. They bought it. They got in a bidding war because they got all emotional and tied up into it. And they overpaid for the house. Well, they broke up like 2 months later and then had to sell it within like 6 months. And they lost their booties on it because, I mean, they had to turn around that fast.
Yeah. Not fun.
That's why you shouldn't.
Are we doing, sorry, are
And
we doing the
that's why we
article or
don't do
our-
cocaine.
I don't
Especially
do
while-
cocaine.
Yeah, so this is the first,
That's like the first piece of it.
well, that was actually just the intro.
Oh.
There is a
Let's talk about
full
trends.
article in 4 pages here, but you feel free to like
Sorry.
extrapolate
Sorry.
on whatever
I'll shut
whatever I give you.
I'll shut up.
Okay, so the first thing it says is buyers will flock to flexible, multifunctional spaces, which I think is a really interesting thing to delve into, just getting everyone's opinion. So the ongoing rise of telecommuting and online education means more and more buyers need to strike a work-life balance despite working where they live. And in the post-pandemic world, rigid home layouts just don't cut it. This is a quote from Brad Smith, obviously Brad Smith.
The expert, Brad Smith.
Brad Smith says, as remote work continues, home buyers are looking for flexible spaces that can serve multiple functions. An office during the day, a workout area in the evening, and a cozy reading nook at night. And then somebody else, Elizabeth Grace. These people have these fabulous names.
They sound
I
like
think they're
characters
boring.
in a book.
Brad Smith? That's like the most ho-hum name.
Well, he's a CEO, so
So he's about us.
I mean,
Brad Smith.
so
aka about us.
Elizabeth Grace says the concept of multifunctionality will become increasingly prevalent in the home design trends of 2024. With the rising need for versatile living spaces, homeowners will opt for furniture and layouts that serve multiple purposes. Think foldable tables, modular seating, and convertible storage solutions that maximize the functionality of every square inch. Creating adaptable spaces not only enhances convenience, but also enables homeowners to make the most of their living areas regardless of their size. So,
Hold on.
what are our opinions?
I have one.
What are our opinions
Shocker.
on
She has an opinion.
multifunctional spaces? And how do you think, number one, how does it work as far as marketing to your clients? Number two, how do you stage those suckers? Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So first off,
what do we
there's
think?
foldable tables is never a design trend. It's a terrible idea, and it's just for college students. But go ahead.
So I
Foldable
think
tables.
that people can use one room for multiple purposes, but I don't think that people are like going to shift things around from morning to evening to make them work for themselves. Like I don't think
You
that's
don't
a thing.
want to have to make those changes.
Nobody likes to pick up their shit in the first place. No one's going to want to move stuff around for
Yeah.
multi-purposes. The other thing about it too is that from a selling standpoint, multi-purpose spaces are fine, but they have to make sense. So people have to know, like, what am I supposed to use this space for?
right.
You know,
Like
that's
from a
like,
staging perspective, like it's confusing if you're like, look, it's got a desk and a reading nook and a treadmill. Like, no, let's get this shit out of here and create one defined purpose. Like from a marketing standpoint, it's a terrible idea. How you're going to live in the house and how you sell the house are two different things.
sure, yeah, I agree.
So,
And they're talking about living in a house, so
They're just talking about what buyers are looking,
Are looking
for,
for, yeah.
essentially. So So let's say there is a multifunctional space. How do you
Like a
stage it?
bonus room.
You decide. You make a
You
decision
make a
about
decision.
how
Is
you're
it
going to market it and
Mhm.
what's the best for it.
And I always consult with the agent of, are you putting this as a media room? Are you putting it as a bonus room? Is it a fitness room? And like decide what it is and play it out that way. Because depending on what else is in the house and where you are, like, is it a area where it's a lot of like young professionals where it should be an office, or is it somewhere that is more family oriented that's going to, you need it to be like a play area or whatever.
hmm
But
Most
What
of the time, I'm going to choose an office.
I was gonna say, what do you find
Most of the
what do you
time.
find sells most of the time? Office?
Office for sure. Because even if people don't work from home every day, all day, they still are checking their computer at night. They're maybe, the husband does games and stuff. I mean, they do their bills. Like
they like to have like
everybody,
a home command center.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, even
Yeah.
think about your struggles in the house of figuring out like
Yeah.
where you want to do what. Like, do you really enjoy your multi-purpose room, and do you truly use it multi-purpose? Your upstairs. I know you set it up to be multi-purpose,
Uh-huh.
but do you use it multi-purpose?
You talking about that loft space?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I mean,
You wanted to.
extenuating circumstances that I'm not allowed to mention today
You can talk about the
mean
puppies. I won't
that
cry.
I can't really use it. I do like the space. It's just for our life, for the season that we're in right now, we can't. But I mean, yes, it is definitely a catch-all space. There are purposes behind it, but yeah, it's not as functional as, say, an office downstairs would be
Right.
for our family. But yeah, I did like the concept of it when I was buying and we were building. I mean, it was oh, this is where we put all of our extra
Did you,
stuff.
when you built, there were model homes to go through?
Mhm.
Was your floor plan one of them?
No, but
Was there one with a bonus room upstairs?
we were able to walk this model
Yeah.
because
Was it
they had one
staged?
that they
No.
had one that they were almost finished building.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to walk it and see
See the space.
See the
Feel the
space.
space. Yeah.
Now, I will say, and we probably talked about this before, but my life, like when we planned this house and when we moved into this house, everything in our lives had changed
Right.
in that span of time. So if we were to be building a house right now, given the current like stage that we're all in, it would be different. But at this point, we have to just adapt with what we have.
So, Heather, when you're taking buyers around, what spaces are most confusing? What is like the question you get the most of, like, well, I don't know where we're going to do this, or I don't know where we're going to have the TV, or I don't know where we're going to.
Yeah. The TV is a big thing. And then also dining rooms are a big thing that I hear people talking a lot about. There's a lot of people don't see a need for like a formal dining room anymore. Like
No.
2 dining room spaces is not making a lot of sense to people.
Mhm.
So I kind of wish the builders would,
Quit.
yeah,
That
like,
and the
stop.
big wall niches, like, stop with the stupid wall
Yeah.
niches, people.
But people still want a TV in their living room. A lot of them aren't wanting them over the fireplace anymore either.
Right.
So that's been something I've seen that's changed. That used to be like, let's make the TV kind of the focal point. People are kind of trying to get away from that and
'Cause it's
figuring
ugly.
out they're figuring out how to hide it again, instead of making it that focal point over the fireplace.
Right.
But
Which is smart.
but back to the flex spaces, like I
Sorry.
don't think that a lot of people use rooms for more than two purposes at the most. Like they might have an office and a treadmill in the same room, or they might. A lot of people have the treadmill in their master bedroom, which I think is really bad juju. But a lot of people do
Such
it.
a bad
We used to
idea.
have
Um,
one in the master bedroom. It's
yeah,
not in there
it's
anymore.
just
Two
not-
things happen in the bedroom, and
yeah.
treadmill's not one of them. 2 things.
And cocaine is not either.
Oh, yes, yes.
No cocaine in the bedroom. Bathroom.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I'm gonna buy you a shirt off of the Real Housewives that says, "Please don't do coke in the bathroom."
I've
They have
seen the little
those.
needle plant
Yes.
things.
Yes.
Yes, it's so cute.
Please don't do cocaine
Yes.
in the bathroom. Anyway, so yeah, the flex spaces.
Pool house?
I'm gonna say on a as far as like a true or false for that, I think it's more false than true.
So what if the multi-purpose space is not in the house, but like a she shed or whatever in the backyard? Is that more sought after?
I honestly don't see those that much.
I don't either, but I have like a real infatuation with them.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of them.
Like,
But I mean, I'd build one myself if I had the room, but I just don't
Yeah,
see
you
them
don't.
that much.
it's probably because most people, especially in DFW don't have the
They don't
space in
have
their
the space.
backyard. But if you
Yeah.
have the space for it and you
But
put a
you'd
little,
think of any area in the world, Texas, like we have a lot of
land.
land and
Yeah,
people on acreage lots
but
and stuff like that. I would think I would see them more, but I just don't.
Yeah, especially like if you look out in like Lucas and Parker and all those areas, like why people don't have more like standalone little guest house / office. I love that idea.
I love it in concept. It's the same reason why I don't put my office like upstairs in one of my bedrooms or something. I love and hate being in the thick of things when I'm trying to work because I love it because then when my kids get home and all that, like I'm sitting there and they come in and we have conversations and stuff like that. I'm not like all upstairs,
Like hidden
but
away.
I hate it too because
You're distracted
because
though.
you get
It's-
distracted
yes.
very easily.
yeah. So it's
Do
it's a-
people like still when they're shopping for homes? Maybe it depends on who it is, but really put focus on having a dedicated guest bedroom.
Yeah, most people want one.
I will say I have been tossing around the idea of multi-purposing our guest bedroom at some point.
I've done the same thing.
You're gonna
That's-
have to get rid of the king bed.
Well, what I actually saw was I was in the Container Store the other day and they have a new line of like their Alpha, but it's like an upgraded, built-in, more custom cabinetry type thing. And they actually have a system that has a Murphy bed in
I
it.
was gonna say Murphy.
Mhm.
And it's very cute. And it's like
Is
a
it really?
it's a full wall bookshelf. I mean, it's custom, but the one
Right.
that they have the picture of, it's a full wall bookshelf area. And it has like shelving up the sides and it has a Murphy bed in the middle. And you
Mhm.
People
pull it down.
underestimate the Murphy bed.
And I'm like, I could really
yeah.
make that room into an office if there was a Murphy bed. The
Right.
problem I have, you all know me and you know my house, is that's like the darkest room in our house. There's one window and it's super dark. It's right beside the house next to us. And so I don't think I'd be happy in there.
Is there attic above it?
I feel like I could put
It's
Mark
the
in
first
there.
floor.
Right. But
Oh.
Grady's room is above it.
oh,
It's
yeah.
first floor.
Sorry. Yeah, you
Um,
said first floor.
No, Grady's
Okay.
room's above that. That's kind of the one that's tucked away by the garage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I could, if I really got the urge to do it, and we changed things around. I think I could put Mark's office down there because he doesn't care. Like he's
He
fine
doesn't?
in a cave. I'm the natural light, like get really cranky when I can't see outside kind of person.
I'm like Mark. I'd rather be in a cave.
I know.
Although I want a good view, which is kind of like
Yeah,
a
that's
dichotomy. Like I want a good view, but I like the
well.
cave.
So his
I don't
office
think
is
those
one
go
of the
together.
I know.
his office is one of the best ones in the house because it
Lots
has
of-
French doors.
Yeah, it's super.
It has
pretty.
a ton of little windows up top. Like it's
Yeah.
very bright. When you open the doors to the house, you can see out the back. I mean, it's pretty. He doesn't care. So, I mean, we could potentially make that into his office downstairs, and then I could go upstairs. But then we're in the same
You can't go
same
upstairs.
problem in that it's upstairs.
I know that's my
I am
problem
not a
too.
2-story house kind of girl. I don't like 2-story houses. I didn't want a 2-story house, but my whole family's like, but that means we've made it when we have a 2-story house. And I'm just like, it doesn't.
Do
but
those words really
whatever.
come out of their mouth?
Mark has said that before.
I have a friend who's, maybe she's joking, but she's like, my husband literally thinks like we've made it when we get to pour our circle driveway in the front of the house.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Oh, he was
the-
like, a second floor means that we've made it. And I was like,
no.
I grew up in a 2-story house.
vomit.
I don't like it at all.
I don't like big houses though.
I
I
would
don't either.
much prefer to have a ranch and have things spread out. Like I liked the layout of my old house. If I
Mhm.
could have just added some space to it, made it a little
I
bigger.
moved it to where a
Yes.
more convenient location.
Yes, moved it to a convenient location and added a couple of extra rooms where we outgrew it. It was just too small for what we had going on. But if I could just expand that a little bit and pick it up and move it to land up where we live now, I would do that in a heartbeat.
What do you think that the breakdown is in 2-story versus 1-story in DFW is in general? Like, do you think there's more of which or the other?
I think there's more 2 stories because I think they're cheaper to build.
Because you need less land.
Foundation's like 25% your cost.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's huge. So the spreading
That's
out.
Is that
of-
accurate? How do you know that?
I mean, it was accurate when I went to architecture school.
Oh,
So that was like, what, 30 years ago? So, hey, it may not be true anymore, but it probably
I
is
don't
because
know that I knew that
building-
you did that.
I did. Building materials
Really?
have not gone down.
No.
So
no.
I would think it's probably at least that. So if you think about spreading out on a one story,
Yeah.
and how much that foundation costs versus this
Yeah.
much and going up,
It
It's
is
a lot
cheaper
cheaper.
to have a 2-story than
which
a
makes
1-story.
it cheaper for the buyer, which makes it more prevalent.
I thought
Economy.
people were just caught on like the whole massive, like they have to have a game room and a media room, and they have to have like all these a formal living and a formal dining, and then a family room and a breakfast. Like, no, unless you have like 19 kids, you don't need that much space.
Yeah.
God, I don't have 19 kids.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I can't even keep up with the 2 I have.
Exactly.
Let me go
Okay.
through these
Yeah.
other couple just
Let's do
real
like
quick because
a-
I think we are running a little bit long on
Let's-
this episode.
Let's do like
Sorry.
rapid
But
fire.
yeah, so this one really kind of relates to what we just talked about, but they're saying single purpose rooms have become a turnoff.
I don't
disagree.
agree. I disagree.
Let's do true or false.
True or false?
So the first one I think was false. This one is false.
What was the first one? Remind me.
The multi-purpose rooms.
Okay,
and how
I will
people-
say listen to what they're saying though in it. Rooms dedicated to a single purpose, like formal dining rooms or media rooms, are becoming less popular
I do agree
as
with that.
homeowners prefer flexible multifunctional spaces. So that was the quote that they're posting in this. So maybe it is true to an extent. Maybe that you just need to reconsider
I
the
think if you have-
types of single purpose rooms that you're including.
If you're
Exactly.
having multiple, if you have bonus space, meaning a secondary living, a secondary eating, things like that, I think people want to see the multi-purpose room. They don't want to see 2 dedicated eating spaces, 2 dedicated, media
Yeah.
game. I could see that.
Okay, the next one, interesting. I'm interested to hear this one. The trend towards sustainability isn't going anywhere.
You mean like,
Energy efficiency and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it says that eco-conscious materials, features, and systems that lower utility bills while minimizing planetary harm have been in vogue for years, and the trend is still on the rise moving into 2024. Go clean and green wherever you can.
I agree with that.
I agree with that to a point. I will say I had an experience not too long ago with some sellers who had put solar panels on their
Oh.
house.
Terrible idea.
Oh my God.
Because you
Seriously.
can't say no. I'm those people. I'm like, don't ring my doorbell because you'll sell me
Well,
something.
because
It's just bad economics. I mean,
Yeah.
these things, the sellers ended up having to pay them off at closing.
Yep.
Because my buyers weren't taking on that
no,
amount. And it was like $45,000.
I think
And
what
how
ge-
long is that going to take to amortize that investment in terms of an electricity bill?
right.
How many?
The problem is people are being bamboozled on really what the finances are because I don't think that they
Wait,
truly
hold on. Say what that word was.
Bamboozled.
bamboozled. Oh, it's
Yeah.
bamboozled,
Bam-
not bamboozled. We're gonna go with famboozled. People
That's
are
my
being
new favorite F word. Bamboozled.
fucking famboozled. People are getting fucking famboozled by these solar panel companies because they're like, oh, we're gonna go do. They don't realize what they're doing is buying an asset that nobody else wants to fucking buy, and they're not gonna get an ROI when they sell that house.
And the secondarily worst thing about this was it was a new home. It was already freaking energy efficient. So that seller got, I mean, just railroaded. Ramrodded.
Ramrodded.
Fucking
Ramrodded.
famboozled.
or railroaded.
It was it was just a really, really bad investment.
But they're not an investment.
No, it was terrible.
No, if you're gonna stay in your house forever and you have a shitty old maybe,
but
but
how
like
do you know that? Nobody ever knows that.
you don't because you don't know what's gonna happen.
Don't make decisions of that magnitude based on the fact I'm staying here forever. Because
And
you know
please
what?
understand
Like
what you're signing. You're not
Oof,
just
it was
like
bad.
you are buying an asset that has a shitty ROI.
So in general, yes, I would say truth to that, but be careful.
And
Not solar
I think,
paneled. It's solar. Bleh.
Solar paneled.
Don't be
can't talk.
famboozled
Don't.
or ramrodded or
What's-
railroaded.
What's
or
ramrodded?
Ramrodded.
But the other thing too is because there's really, really good marketing companies, we're starting to overpay for the green movement.
Oh yeah.
Do you think
Okay,
that's true?
I'm
think
interested
so.
in this one.
Okay.
Because this affects me directly. Lose the carpeting and tiled floors.
Yes.
Yes.
Truth.
All the tile?
Not in wet rooms, not in bathrooms and laundry rooms, but for the love of God, stop putting tile all over the house.
Oh, in the
I
living
have
room.
tile all over my
I know
house.
you do. And you have the wood like tile. And I have to tell you, can we have a moment? Like, I love you. I hate
don't-
tile that looks like wood floor. I'm
I
sorry.
don't. I disagree with her on that. I'm just saying. And I'm not saying
It's
that
not
to
for
be
me
nice.
personal.
I'm not
love
saying that-
my floor.
I'm not saying that to be nice.
And it's your home and you should do what you want with it. I do agree with that. I personally don't like tile that looks like wood. I don't
mind it at all. But yeah,
I don't like things that are made to look like something they're not.
something else. Yeah.
But
I agree in most instances, but only when you can like find the patterns and stuff and you see that it's like a print.
your wood looking tile is done well. I will
Yeah.
give you that.
It is done well.
It's just not my favorite thing. Yes, the same with like the luxury vinyl. Okay, vinyl's never luxury. I'm sorry, it's just not, and it's okay. And there's a place for it, and it's fine. It's never a luxury. Like, do not go put vinyl flooring into your house and try to sell it for $800,000.
I think that's definitely a fad. But what's good about the luxury vinyl is that you can put it all over in all spaces, wet and dry. And it is nice to have like one consistent floor throughout the whole house. That's
But you
really
don't
good.
need you don't need the same thing in the living room that you have in the bathrooms and laundry room should have different flooring.
It's fine.
Oh well, I disagree.
But
okay.
but the tile
The
thing,
tile.
I think what most people think of when they think of tile is like the 12 by 12 or the
Yeah,
whatever.
Stop
Don't do that.
Don't.
Do not do that. in
I
your
don't
living
care
room.
that's a rental.
It's terrible.
I don't.
It only. I mean, maybe it works in Florida with sand, but not
I would
here.
say like on beach houses, I get it.
I get it. It still looks ugly, but I get it. But yeah, I agree.
I guess
True.
it's a function over fashion.
Capital
thing.
T.
'Kay.
True.
Okay.
We're really good at rapid fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love your house though.
Thanks. I can't say this word.
Uh-oh.
Biophilic? Biophilic
Biophilic, I
design?
think. Biophilic.
Winning homes will bring nature indoors. So it's basically saying if you really want your home to spark bidding wars, don't just design with the natural world in mind. Make it a part of your living space. One trend that continues to gain momentum is the incorporation of biophilic design principles. The design philosophy seeks to reconnect us with nature by integrating natural elements into our living rooms, into our living spaces. So they're saying you'll see an upsurge in indoor green walls, living plant installations, and large windows that blur the line between indoor and interior and exterior.
See, some of that stuff I think is a trend, and some of it I think like it goes back to like having natural wood floors and stuff, and going back to like natural wood colors, not the gray wash colors, and like the living moss walls and stuff. They're super pretty, they're super fun, but really they're going to be a trend, and they really belong more in like commercial spaces. But then like the big windows and some of the more organic paint colors and stuff, I think that stands a chance to run longer.
I love big windows.
Yeah, I would
do
say
too.
in
Windows
general,
always.
I would think that whole thing is false to me. Big windows have always been in. When's ever anyone said, I don't want big windows? I
In the
mean, maybe not in the
70s?
bathroom, but like,
70s,
really?
80s?
They didn't like windows back then? Like, it
50s.
seems like everybody likes windows. And the floor to
True.
ceiling,
Typically, when windows are small, it's a budget decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean,
I love the big doors that you can open. Like
yes.
those.
Oh, like the accordion doors.
Yes.
In the
I
I
think
want that
that
on my back
I
of
would
my
love
house.
that
Yeah.
in the back of my house.
Absolutely.
Like that
Yeah.
would be
Oh,
Yeah.
can
That
you
would-
do that in your living room?
but when you think about mid-century modern,
if
You-
you
just
you're
need,
gonna
like,
have to like
50,000.
tear up my tile and get rid
Oh,
of my
no.
house.
I love your house. I don't. Anyway.
when you think about like, if you go back to like mid-century modern design or like Frank Lloyd Wright, you know,
all about the
all the huge windows, like the big
Love
picture
Frank
windows
Lloyd
and stuff
Wright
like
stuff.
yeah,
It's cool.
exactly. So that stuff is
See.
not a trend like what they're
Yes.
saying.
The
Like,
windows-
that stuff has
but, like-
always been the case.
But like the
Maybe
the
it's a
living,
resurgence of trying to
Resurgence.
get
But they
the
mentioned, like,
nature
the
in versus
living
like
moss
super
walls.
modern. I mean, yeah, I think what it's saying is it's trending more toward like a natural look versus, for a while everything was like super modern and
Yeah.
super like
Yeah, steel and
Yes.
metals
the
and
industrial feel.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe it's just saying it's trending
The
toward
reality is with
warmer.
design and stuff, it's gonna just keep
Nose will
changing.
not stop running. I do not know why.
Oh, I do.
No, not true. But
Little-
anyway, so everyone's gonna just watch me as I like hold my head up like
Okay. So anyway, but
she needs a nutty pot over there.
it's I mean, trends are home
Yeah,
design's always going to change. There are some things that will come back more often, or some things that will last longer. Like
It's like bell bottoms. Same thing.
I love bell
very
bottoms because they
bell-bottoms
always.
right
I
now,
love a bell
sort of
bottom.
like a flare.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
Okay.
the last one.
Okay.
People want a house, not a warehouse, and there is such a thing as too much tech.
I
Like the smart houses.
Uh-huh.
agree
Smart
with that.
houses annoy me. They scare
I agree
me.
with that.
I always break them.
It is one more thing that can break, and it's also like it's confusing as hell. I'm not a techie person, and so I need somebody to like. I know you have a husband that's techie, so you're all good with
Oh,
it.
I would
But, like-
love for you to keep talking because I'm going to make him listen at the like 31-minute mark or wherever
Oh.
we are. He's going to listen to this. So
stuff,
continue.
It drives me crazy. Like I got, for example, I got a new garage door opener,
Mhm.
and I put it on that MyQ app. It worked. Everything was great
Until it doesn't.
until it doesn't. Exactly.
There's no,
You
like,
know when
reset
it
button.
stops working?
When we got a new router and I can't get it to hook up to the new router, that's when.
It also stops working as soon as your husband gets on a plane for an international flight. It's like a
My husband doesn't
16-hour
do that
flight.
kind of thing. So,
16-hour
yeah.
flight. He steps on the plane. He says, I'm going in airplane mode. Shoop. Then everything stops working. You can't get into your house. You can't turn your sprinkler off. You can't open your garage door. Everything shuts down and your house goes, hello, I'm turning against you. And then you're waiting for 16 hours until you can be like, how the fuck does my house work? Make it work. And then he complains because I call him at like 2 a.m. wherever he is.
Panicked.
Oh, I'm in Korea and it's 2 a.m. And I'm just like,
I don't care.
make the lights turn off in the bedroom. And he's just like, why the fuck are you calling me? I'm like, why the fuck does my house work like this? Okay, wow, I just got
See,
really
but
passionate.
here's the thing too. Like,
Ooh.
I agree with
Hit a
you.
button.
Like, there's nothing wrong with just like a switch that
I'm
can still
triggered.
work things.
Triggered.
And here's my thing, and I'm gonna offend a whole bunch of people. In
It's
about
okay.
2
You've
seconds.
already offended both of us today. Keep
Have-
going.
Did I offend you, Heather?
Probably.
The
Oh.
cocaine.
Oh, did that offend you?
I'm not sure. I was offended. I was just like,
I was startled. Anyway,
She's not
Like,
ready for
when I-
cocaine
when I-
talk this early in the morning.
when we
ever.
when I go into a house and I'm like meeting homeowners, and I was like, okay, because I start flipping on all the lights and doing all that, see how much lights in there, and they'll be like, Alexa, turn on the living room lights, and I'm like, it's not cool, it's not impressive because you can talk to your house.
Okay, can we?
Just turn on the switch.
We got to wrap this up, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna digress with just a little story. I named my daughter Sadie. Yes, I know everyone's had a animal named Sadie, and everyone has just these great memories of their dog named Sadie from childhood. There's a cat named Sadie from their first apartment. I get it. I understand. They told me all that while I was pregnant. They're like, "What are you naming your daughter?" Sadie. Oh I know your dog's named Sadie. I get it. Okay, cool.
I never thought of that.
But let me tell you that how I say it also sounds like the woman in my phone.
Oh.
So every time I say, "Hey, Sadie," oh, it didn't do it. My phone picks up and says, "I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying." And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm done with
I'm not
robots
talking to
taking
you.
over my life.
Yeah.
That's my daughter. Stop listening to me, phone.
I hate when my phone thinks I'm talking to it and it's not.
Yeah.
I also hate when people, like, if they have to Google something and we're sitting there like, ooh, Google Famboozled. I don't know, whatever we need to Google. And instead of them just picking up their phone, because they're not driving, they're not, and just like, they're like, Alexa, or how do you talk to your phone? Siri.
Siri. I think
What
that's
does
what,
it
that's what you're
mean?
saying.
Like-
Siri sounds like Sadie to
Yes.
me. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
My phone hears
You
it.
don't need
Yeah.
to talk to your phone
No.
like, Siri, please Google the movie times. Just type it.
Well, sometimes I will say sometimes when I start typing things, I get distracted and then I forget what I'm looking for.
Okay, can I just say the most simple thing in the world used to be going to the wall, flipping on the light, and flipping on the fan.
And it shouldn't be anything different than that.
I hate that every fan that you buy now
Has
is
a
remote.
And then I lose a remote.
I lose the remote, or I thought I was being smart. I bought 3 of the same fan for my house.
Uh-huh.
Guess what happens?
The remotes get confused. And
The
you
remotes
walk
get
around.
confused.
Well, no, they work with each other.
Yes.
So I'm trying to turn the fan on here in the living room, and the kitchen one's turning off.
Thank you. I'm in the bedroom
You have a
enjoying
fan
my
in the kitchen?
Well, like, no, like,
Let's talk about poor design
Clo-
choices.
it's the dining space, like, by the back door.
Ooh, can I get you back?
It's like
Um,
over the
no,
breakfast
but
table.
I'm sitting in my bedroom
By the back door.
enjoying my
Mhm.
show.
Okay, little Miss Wood Tile.
Okay, can I get in here, please? I'm
Yes,
talking.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm sitting in my bedroom enjoying my show, and
She's
and
small
I don't
but
like.
mighty.
Thank you. I don't like a ceiling fan. I don't like them. I don't like the wind on me. I don't want them on ever.
I'm
Like,
gonna
I just don't
remember
like
that.
I'm with you.
Next
My
time you
whole
come
family
over.
loves them. I hate them so
I'm
much.
gonna crank it
My
up.
whole family loves them. I do not. Don't turn on the fan when I'm in the room. So I'm just laying in there. And all of a sudden, the fan like starts going, and I'm like, "Is there a ghost in the freaking room? Like, what is happening?"
Yes.
And my husband was turning on the fan in the living room, and it was turning on my fan, and it was like, what is happening? I just don't understand why the tech has to get to the point where it's like fucking annoying. Like, just let me
it-
turn on the switch on the wall.
You know what I
and,
like
Oh,
in
yeah.
it too?
and or give me an option to not have the remote.
Right.
There's no option to
Like
not have
turn
the remote anymore.
off. Can you just pop the batteries out and then just use a switch?
I don't think there's any way to like.
Yeah, you can wire it up to be on a switch.
You can.
Mm-hmm.
I need to have somebody do
Yeah,
that.
the electrician can wire it up so it's its own switch.
I need that.
We don't have remotes on ours. Ours are just in a wall switch.
You
I
can.
need that.
We used to have
And then
remotes,
you just-
but we don't anymore because I don't like it either. I lose them.
I need somebody to come over and like change.
The electrician
up my
can they can
stuff.
wire so you have switches for them.
Yeah,
and
we
then
need
just
that.
throw away the remotes. That's the solution. But you know what I like in that too? Communication from the school. I'm sorry, there are 19 different digital ways that my kids' schools talk to me, and all I want them to do is put a piece of paper in my kids' folder and send it home.
Yeah, they want to email you. They want to call you.
We
they
have
wanna...
Seesaw, we have email, we have this thing and this, and I'm like, s'mores. Like, there's all these different ways, and I'm like, 3 kids, 2 schools. They all have 9 different ways of communicating, and all I want you to do is put it on a piece of paper and put it in their folder, and I'll get it.
Maybe if they remember to give it to you.
No, because I go through my kid's backpack. Somewhere, wherever they fucking exploded their backpack in my house.
Yeah, I know we talked about that last
Backpack.
time.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Are we done?
Yeah,
We good?
so
Okay.
I think that
Truth or
Truth or
false?
dare? Let's
Truth or
play
dare?
truth or
That's what I was
dare.
gonna say. No.
Oh, that would
This
be a
is-
good one.
Oh, I don't know.
No, Heather, I won't bring cocaine.
I'm nervous just talking about it. What would you come up with?
How do y'all feel about cocaine in the studio? No?
I feel like
No.
that
He laughed.
would maybe be frowned upon.
So I
Maybe.
really need to
Maybe.
go on record right
Okay.
now, in case anybody that
What?
ever wants to do business with me. Like, I don't do cocaine.
And your ex-husband's lawyer also
My
needs to know that.
Oh yeah, so don't worry, I don't do cocaine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anywhoodly.
Yeah.
We're good.
So yeah, I think we're good.
Thank you for
um,
listening through our craziness today on
Yeah.
this session.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I feel like it was a little ratchet leveled up with the crazy today.
Yeah.
No.
We are a little bit ratchet today.
Ratchet.
I like
isn't
that word.
ratchet? Isn't ratchet like an ugly, trashy person?
Yeah. But that's fine.
I was gonna say ratchet up.
we can be
like,
that
it's-
too.
if we're not already.
And you guys say that I dress like a trucker. So
Has been a thing.
Some
Anyway.
people are into that.
truckers
OnlyFans.
like fetish.
Go find yourself.
She distorted. I think we're done there.
Yeah, I think
And
we're
done.
good.
Okay, next.
I need a tissue before we
Oh.
start anything else. So
Okay.
because I feel like I'm